Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Together Apart video series. This Thursday, we begin a new Hebrew month, the month of Tammuz. Now, although Tammuz is always found during the summer in our warmest and sunniest time of year, Tammuz is really a time of grief. It's a time where we reconnect to destruction and loss in our history. In particular, we focus on the beginning of the destruction of the temple during the month of Tammuz, because it was on the 17th of Tammuz in 70 CE that the Romans breached the walls in Jerusalem. And this culminated in the destruction of the temple in the following month on the 9th of Av, or on Tisha B'Av, which we will commemorate next month. Now, added on to this is another sort of spiritual layer, which is the story of our ancestor Joseph, who was born at the beginning of Tammuz. Now, Joseph's early life was defined by incredible hostility with his brothers, which eventually led to him being thrown into a pit and them selling him off to slavery in Egypt. So this month, looking at sort of both stories, we see that it's a month of grief, a month where our tradition brings us into a place of spiritual descent. Yet if we look at the story of Joseph more closely, there's another layer to this, which is the layer that's about the ascent that follows descent. With Joseph's story, what we notice is that time and again, he rose from his lowliest places to new and greater heights. Eventually, after many, many lows, he reached the highest of heights. He became one of the most important leaders in the entire land of Egypt, feeding many, many people in dire times, in times of famine. So what this also reminds us of is the ways that ascent follows descent for all of us. Time and again in our lives, especially in this pandemic year, we have found ourselves in low places, whether that's emotional, physical, existential, or spiritual, only to eventually ascend into a different place, into a greater height, and into a greater self. This year in particular, I think, the walls of our inner Jerusalem have been breached. But each of us and all of us have made it to this other side. And with being on this other side, we have been given the gifts, we have received through our hard descent, the gifts of new insights and new strength. So with this, I invite you to reflect. What have your experiences of descent been during this pandemic? What have these experiences of descent been like for you? And what has your ascent looked like? And who have you become through this process of moving from descent to ascent? As usual, I look forward to hearing your responses to these questions. You can reach me at rabbi@bethtorah.org. I look forward to hearing what's on your heart and your mind.